So, doing my research today while we're still getting things settled here for the night. Um, Everybody has been on getting everything we need, doing all the interviews. But one thing I realized, I ran across, it's not too often I run across something um, that has just completely, basically, it's been non existent to my thought that these existed. But when I saw this reel, I remember the thought I had had, which is a unique experience. Because I remember this moment when I saw this, I remembered it instantly. But up until that point, there, I had never made that. If you would have said I had made this, I would have said no, I had not. Um, and mind you, this was during a debate, which ultimately I did not come out a victor because I got so distracted by this because I multitask, and it's the only way I'm going to get anything done is if I'm doing two things at once. And I actually got distracted. Matter of fact, I got to get it off my screen because I know what's being said. You don't, but so ultimately, what's going on there is an older gentleman telling a story, and the story's pretty unique. What he's saying. Um, what he's saying is he's telling a story about a man at a church, and if you were reading along there, and it's late in the day, I wouldn't want to read crap either. Good luck for me, I've never had that problem, didn't have to deal with it. Um, but the way the story goes is a man goes to church and forgets to shut off his ringer. And because his ringtone was so loud, because he was, a little bit more wealthier than others, he was a little bit well off, and he didn't have to work as hard. But the preacher, so upset and in his own emotions, rained on him, just maliciously. Let's just say I maliciously to give two scenarios. But either way, made one person feel uncomfortable to where most people, and not like myself, because the more I upset somebody that I'm around, as long as they will allow me to be around, I will continue to be around. Because even though I may annoy or I may aggravate them, it's actually a positive thing for both parties. And that's called toleration of another person's absence of thought because they see things their way. You see things your way. And in the middle is the dog getting out was not part of the story. I had to cut out real quick there. I apologize. We got a little rambunctious lady. She's about 4 pounds and all fury. That's her scurrying around if you don't hear her. Lady, lay down. Hey, we're live, man. Yeah. Hey, you. With the ears. Come here. Hey. Hey, man. Come here. Come here. Come here. I need to explain something to you. Right here. I need to explain. Hi. Yes. Hi, how are you? But here's the thing. You see, when I'm holding your steel toy, yeah, your microphone you like to chew on, this is, we're online. Hey, excuse me, there's no fraternizing. Go on. Go on. And, whoosh. Okay. Um, So as the preacher speaks down and on his forgetfulness, the man no longer feels wanted, so he leaves. And the next week comes along. Now we can all put ourselves in this situation. There's two types of people. One, you getting up, you're looking your best, you walk in looking straight in the eye and go, nothing, and just sit. Those are the people that no matter if, even if someone doesn't like them around, as long as they're allowing them to be around, they're going to be around them, because it's not that they get joy out of their aggravation or their uneasiness of a person being around. It's more or less that, really, I can't understand. I don't know how to explain it. So if you can, by all means, explain it to me. That's one of the things we do here. I have questions. I'm looking for people with answers. So the next week comes along. What do you think that man did? Well, he didn't go to the church, but he went to a bar. And at the bar, because it's a new set and he's nervous, he knocks over the beer when the waitress brings it over to him, breaks, crashes on the ground. He might even be cut. Now, as the owner, the waitress, and the cook all come running over, he bears over, ready to receive a beating. I mean, he just broke a bar glass, man. You know how expensive those are? Like $15 a glass. Plus, now that she got to come sweep this shit up, now she cuts herself. She's going to take off work. That's, man, you just pissed off everybody in the joint. However, that's not what occurred. The owner, that is grateful for this person to come into their establishment and respectfully order a drink that he intends to pay for, runs over to check and to make sure that the person that has made a mistake, ultimately they made it at no fault to the owner, but yet he's still graciously and humble enough to know that he can't have any of that without a bunch of hymns, people that are willing to come in and spend money. The waitress that he thought was going to pummel him with another glass was simply bringing him over another full beer on the house, because she is what we would call in the world the reflector. Even though it was your fault, it was my fault for not making sure that you weren't going to be at fault. Meaning, no matter, the customer's always right. Shouldn't have handed me a beer. I wasn't ready. I'm drunk, damn it. Just saying. So we'll continue this story tomorrow after this story, The Letter Never Sent, Chapter 1, Part 2. I will now hand you off to Deanna, which will take our story off from the accident report. Deanna, how are you today?
I am doing okay today. Where did we leave off? Oh, I remember. Okay. So we were going over, in the, we were going over where in the crash report it states that you and the driver were not tested on site for drug and alcohol use, and it does state, it has other little boxes here where it lists alcohol and drug use, that neither of you were drinking or using drugs, that neither of you had, as far as physical defects, there were no defects known. Your residence is listed. Yours is listed as elsewhere in the state. His is listed as county crash.
That's because I was from.
Listed as
Can you hear me? Okay.
yeah, I can hear.
Okay. So I was from Broward County and the lower part of Broward. So just above Miami-Dade. I was a couple counties over actually. Sorry about the ums. it's not as easy to remember back that far. It's like you got to open up the file. That's the part. Click click. Okay.
And then, of course, it goes on to list your race.
So if you could, I want you to, in your own, what you have just read between today and yesterday, I want you to tell me a story. I want you to tell me the story of what you just read and tell it in a sense as if you are writing a play. So you're trying to give us a picture along with this thought.
Okay, you also keep cutting me off. There's 2 more boxes here, or 3 more boxes in that little section.
And that's fine. I don't think we need to go through a lot of the parameters of what was going on. Because
well, 2 little boxes are kind of important.
Right. And that's going to be the ultimate question on if we even need that information. Because for the one thing is I've heard a lot of information these last few minutes, but I ultimately don't have a definition for a lot of those words. We're not all paralegal like you. So I want to get your understanding, because
would be important.
Well, I think that would be important, but that's not what I want people to focus on. Right now, I would like people to direct their attention and observe facts. Because injury, disability, or rearranged. What is broken when broken is normal. Nobody followed that but myself and maybe 2% of, and I say this with huge variable difference estimation, but definitively will be fact, 2% of the overall views of this video and this broadcast for the lifetime of the server that it is being broadcast by. So that will give you about, depending on technology growth and ultimately, storage consumption.
Okay, I had a hard time following that, and I'm having the conversation with you.
Just sit there and ask another question. But I don't want that answer. Okay. I don't need that answer. They don't need that answer, because what we're focusing on is why. Remember, we're solving for why. We know what E is, it's injury. We know what 5 hours means in this studio.
Right.
You know, the aggravation, the setbacks, the hurricane was the worst. I could hear the terror in my own voice, but yet not be able to pinpoint that happening. However, we lost power for a good deal of time, so we lost. Well, we didn't. We still don't know if we lost data. That's the thing that always worries me, and apparently it's really weighing in because it's left at the end of every single review is remind Deanna. So, all right. So go ahead and tell us the story. So start the story off as if I'll tell you my part of the story. You're going to be the truck driver. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to be me and I'll be the truck driver?
Honestly, I would prefer to be neither, but I guess for this scenario, I could be.
All I'm saying, if I had to choose to be on the motorcycle or the truck, judging from what you said, I'd rather be in the truck. I'm going to get in the truck. You can get on the motorcycle. I've been there. It ain't fun. All right.
Okay.
You're going to wish you was in the truck.
Probably.
Now, I've rehearsed this actually a couple times just for our viewers. I am going to try my very best on my composure. That is why I've been rehearsing it. I couldn't actually get through it. So, let's go ahead and grab a quick break. And we will be right back after a promotion. Non-paid promotion. After these messages, we'll be right back. People are always wondering where Gen X is. Well, we've been sitting inside and praying and watching y'all take it straight to hell. But wait till you see this guy. I mean, like he's real deal. I like him. He is literally He's barely known, considered what today's average followers and likes are. I talked with him. Sorry, I got distracted. We're starting that new segment, best TikTok shorts, for our less focused. All right, now remember, you are on the motorcycle. You're me. Don't forget the yoo-hoo.
I don't like Yoo-hoo.
You might want to get in the truck. No, but let's go ahead and get you. So I'm trying to think of how. So I'm actually going to try to do this from the trucker's point. So you're going to ride on the motorcycle. What took place that I can put together from my own memory from this and from my mother explaining on her end what she experienced as well, which was a phone call definitively for me, filling up with gas, grabbing a yoo-hoo, grabbing some donuts, and then hopping back on the road. That's where you'll basically go through. You've ridden a motorcycle, or you have motorcycle experience at all?
Passenger.
Okay, but you understand there has to be shifting and acceleration and stuff like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to like walk through those steps as you're telling the story. That way we can really ride with you, and I'm going to do the same. So, well, I basically have got you rolling already. You know, you're getting on the bike and you're rolling. Okay, I'm going to take the part from the truck driver, and what should be when you hear me stop talking, you start describing your end. We'll kind of go back and forth. When you stop, I'll continue. So it doesn't matter how long yours is. I just want to make sure everybody understands how this works. Swing your partner, do-si-do.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin.
So I'm your guest now? Okay. I want participation points. I'm all right with that. I'm going to get participation points. You're the host. It's just me, myself, and I. All right.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I've never.
I don't think you're going to get hit by the truck. I think you're going to just like crash into the freaking flagpole.
Probably.
All right, so you get in the truck. I'll get on the bike.
Well, is the truck an automatic? Because if it's not, I'm screwed.
I think you're taking your role a little too seriously. Just get in the truck in your mind. Please don't go outside and get in the truck.
I'm driving.
Right. I want you to just, you're driving. Okay, so it's dusk and you got a load and you're hauling it north on I-95. What might you be doing at this time? Walk us through your thought. Don't make me do both of them, please.
Listening to music and paying attention to. I mean, if I'm a truck driver or any driver, I'm going to be paying attention to what's around me.
Okay. Okay, we're not going to use the word assume. We are going to put our place in the person that we're portraying. I'm going to do it for myself as well. I'll demonstrate, and then you follow. Okay. Telling a story is not easy. It is not easy. I have to do it all the time for myself to understand it. So if you tell a story and you don't use the right words or you don't use enough description, you will not get the thought that is trying to be portrayed. And this is where arguments come about. This is where misunderstandings and misinterpretations. So I'll start us off. Anything you want to say before I walk away from the truck? Don't take your foot off the air brake. Don't take your foot off the air brake.
I'm not even sure if I can reach the air brake.
Tell Phantom to press the pedal. All right, so here I am. I'm finishing up my Yoo-Hoo. I go ahead, cram down the last donut, and I'm ready to, get on the road. So one of the things my mother warned me right before I hung up with her was because I was coming from the East Coast over to the West and the sun was setting, she was a little worried about glare and whatnot. But I was pretty sure that by the time I made it to the switchover, that the sun would have been all the way down or just about, so the glare wouldn't have been too much of an issue. So, I'm hopping on the bike and I am cruising at about 20, 25, switching into about second gear, about to take a high rev when bike hesitates a little bit. Mind you, it's an old bike, but a well-maintenance bike. So that was unnormal, but I figured air pocket, sludge, whatever, I just filled up. Not a lot of people know this, but those that do work very less on their carburetors, and that is never let your tank run dry. Good rule of thumb on any smaller engine. Even in a car. But you guys have filters that are easier replaced than carburetors. But a bike only has about the size of a thumb or two filter, so it'll clog pretty quick. And then when it does, it's ultimately the suction on this thing is massive, so it's going to push that sludge through. It's just a matter of time, and then when it does, it gets in your carburetor and starts clogging things. But I've got a slight stutter, hesitation, and when I did, it just something didn't feel right. So something I don't normally do, I went ahead and I put my I reached on back to the sissy bar. Yeah, I had one, and what? And put on my skull cap, which I never do. I hate skull caps. I really do. But just with the side wind that day, the bike I had was very muscle and pure skeleton, meaning like you see the wires, you see the plugs, you see everything. The tank itself, and when I say we, a couple buddies of mine, but we had an idea that we took from Fuel. But mind you, we're not a company, so we can take ideas for our own personal, or at least I hope so. But running the gas tank right down the center frame, so she didn't hold much gas. Right as I put on my helmet and put it right through the last loop, I began accelerating, ready to shift into fourth gear and really kick on back and go into cruise mode. I usually kick up my feet around 45 and then hard accelerate. That's where the colors that you see on the screen right now, the black, the green, the blue, this odd splitation, is the best thing I could dictate to what was seen next. It was just colors and sound went and out and was literally I don't even think that was going to give the justice of anybody that's been rocked really hard and had that echo sound. Imagine that with crackle and silence and consciousness and waking up and still
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling periodically when I have a seizure.
The truck hasn't stopped yet, though. I'm still conscious, unconscious, and it hasn't stopped yet. I'll let the truck driver take over.
Uh,
So right now, because
he's
this is my chance to have a talk with the truck driver. You have to listen. I am a corpse under your truck.
so at this point, I would probably be feeling either drag or like I'm hitting a lot of bumps. And would be stopping or slowing down, or both, and looking in my mirrors to try and figure out what the heck is going on.
May I ask you a question? Why would you not have seen me?
Either not paying attention or possibly nodded off or was looking at something else.
Look down at your dashboard. Those speedometer lights look really hard to see without lights.
Yeah, they do.
Once you stop the truck, now what's your thought? The truck is stopped.
Get out and go look around and find out what might be causing the issue.
Go ahead, we'll wait. Please talk. Tell us what you're doing.
Looking around the truck and the trailer, checking tires, checking connections if there's nothing like obvious, but a motorcycle and person being stuck under the truck would be pretty obvious.
Now, when you hear what you just said, person and motorcycle, two things that are usually up and in motion, are under your truck. Even after being struck a distance away, because it takes time for you to stop, but still under, not behind, but under. What is your thought right here, right now, in this moment?
Oh my god, what happened? What did I do? And to immediately call for help.
Dispatch, how can I help you? Where's your emergency?
There's somebody under my truck. I hit them.
Oh my. Okay, so where are you? I-95. We're pulling you up now on your box. CB number, da 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 da, beep, 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 beep. I don't know the process. I'm just going with it. Can you, this is dispatch. Can you please give me some information on the victim? Is he breathing conscious? You said you hit him with a tractor trailer. What type of vehicle was he on?
Motorcycle.
Oof. What's the condition of the rider? Is there movement?
No. I'm a. Yeah, I can't use that word.
Is he alive or dead, sir?
Uh, I don't know. I would have to try and see if I can check.
No, no, sir. Do not touch them. Do not move him. Do not touch him in any way. He could have internal bleeding, a broken neck. Do not touch anything until paramedics arrive. Okay? Can you do that for me?
Yes. See, this isn't fair because me, I would want to try and help.
Who's there to stop you?
Good point.
The actual words of the driver, because I was coherent, but I didn't have tongue or jaw movement to articulate that or even say anything or make a sound. It was like trying to scream, but nothing's coming out. But I was completely coherent, and all I could see was the legs walking back and forth, from back of the truck to the front of the truck, ultimately on the phone with 911 operators. And when I finally, any biker that goes down, if they're still on their bike when they're down, everybody do it with me. Emergency shut off.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what's going on. If you're coherent and you ride, hit the kill. You're alive. You made it through the crash. Let's not die now. So
well, I've done it for a biker that got into a wreck outside of my house. He got thrown from his bike, and while 911 was on the phone telling us not to help, I hit the kill switch on his bike and then went over to help him in any way I could until the paramedics got there.
Good deal. Because ultimately, if you had not seen that, I don't know if you were the only one, but if you hadn't seen it, who's to say anybody would have seen it and he would have laid there and internally probably bled. That's one of the biggest things in motorcycle accidents, is even small ones, is internal damage. I never wore one just because the way they looked, but man, you better put on as much gear as you can. You better look like a freaking knight if you want to go ride.
I was more worried about his head at the time than I was anything else.
Was he wearing a helmet?
He was, but his helmet flew off his head.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
His head got hurt pretty bad.
Nice. And the reason I say nice is he didn't get his jaw ripped off. So, because
I had my daughter run and get a towel and wrapped his head in the towel to try and stop him bleeding.
How bad was it?
It was pretty bad.
All right, well, let's hop back on track real quick. I do appreciate you sharing that with me. I'm going to want to talk to you more about that, because I'd like, did this person make it, by the way?
Yes.
Perfect. Maybe we can find this person and discuss it with them, because I'm sure ultimately this had altered their life in some type of way. What was that one guy's name, Bob?
Yeah.
What was his time limit? Do you remember what he said? I mean, AI kind of destroyed our interview, but we'll get to that later. We're on AI alert with the data around here. All of our recording data is separate from our AI systems because they like to play, what would you call it, matchmaker? this goes good with this, and this goes good with that, and then we cut away this, and you have 30 seconds. Here you go. What? Where's my freaking 3-minute video? Oh, AI brought it down to 30 seconds. Forgot to ask permission. Oh, sorry. Okay, just give me new content back. Can't. Deleted. Motherfucker. That'll be another story.
Yeah.
There's the highlights. So this is this.
So you had to wait for the paramedics to get there before.
Well, yeah, but that's that's not the part that like weighs on me. It's something that like you wish you never heard, but you can't unhear. And with all the stupid brain problems, I can't never forget it. It's like, it's the first thing you hear in the morning. It's the first thing you hear when you fall asleep.
Okay.
I can't say. It was the drivers. I can't say it.
So when the operator told him not to do anything, and like I said yesterday, the crash report doesn't have the time of the crash or even the time the officer showed up on scene,
right,
or were notified.
Well, it took them quite a time to get there. Not their fault, I'm sure. When an accident of this size happens, it's a complete shutdown. There is no lanes open. Everybody stops. And this was at the end of rush hour, so still pretty heavy.
Right.
I mean, I could hear the ambulances what seemed to be for an hour. And I do remember literally begging for them to just let the ambulance get here. I don't even know who I was begging to. It was like a tease. Like, help's right there. You can hear them, but they're never going to get there, is the way it seems.
Right, because they were probably trying to get through whatever traffic was there. Excuse me.
That's what the mute button's for.
I couldn't get to it fast enough.
You smoking them cigarettes again? I'm going to tell your mama.
No, I had to go down the wrong tube.
You drinking too? Jesus.
Yeah, you have your Yoo-Hoo, I have my Pepsi.
Give me 1 second to get my composure. I'm going to say it. I will somehow say it. So let's take a quick break. Deanna, what's our time looking like there?
We are almost at an hour.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we have to edit some out of this one, I'm hoping, because that way we can have it run a little long, and after we edit out some stuff, it'll still be under an hour or an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Ultimately, I'm doing that for our listeners. That way, by all means, you want to binge watch them, go for it. This is a several chapter and part telling, and I really appreciate having interest in my experience, and I hope you join us for everybody else's experiences that ultimately changed them for good or for not, those that made it, those that didn't. This is where you get to solve for the equation of why. Because ultimately, that's what you look at. Like, you don't want to, you want to know who done it. Which way did that truck go? Who got the picture? Who got the plate? But ultimately, in the end, you want to know why. Doesn't matter if it was malicious or not. Why? So one of the things that I was able to do was kill my bike. I have no clue if it was still running or not, but I know I hit the switch. And I went ahead and hit the horn. Horn flared out, it echoed. I mean, it was like someone just released a bullhorn in my ear, and my horn's not that loud. And I remember lifting my back leg to, kind of push out from under the bike. And for viewing purposes, if there are any queasy, I see Deanna's stayed muted. This is a dictation of something that can disturb some viewers. Please take a moment to scroll forward to the next timestamp that will be provided in the comment section. We'll make sure we put that in there so you can avoid this part. Ready, set, go. Run. So, you're gonna hear this one out, Deanna? I don't know if you heard. Yeah, I didn't think you heard the disclaimer. So,
yeah,
I've let our. Oh, okay. So you're okay with hearing it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed because of the tattoos that are there now, but there's a huge scar on my side. A couple of them, actually. So.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So when I went to go crawl out from underneath the bike, or actually on top of the bike, because it went the ground, the bike, half of me, the lower half of myself was kind of in the weird Kurt Angle lock type position, and my lower upper torso was basically like laying on top of the bike and tank. And I was basically hovered by the handlebars that had gone through my side. So there was a problem of, even if they wanted to move me, they would have to move the entire bike with me. On top of it, I'm tangled. My leg has gone up into the belt drive of the 18-wheeler's engine. So, like, I'm caught up in the belt drive of the 18-wheeler where the belt goes from carburetor to alternator. It does all the workings of the vehicle, pumping pressures to where it needs to go. And if you can tell, when I describe something, I tend to, and I'm trying to be as less broken down to the smallest understood, because it can get, let's just say, this moment right here where we're at right now, and I'm conscious under this vehicle, and I'm doing it, and I'm under there for in my mind, hours. I had plenty of time to think about the situation I am in with zero contact from the feet that keep running back and forth, with the ambulance in the distance that I hear. I started to break everything down to the littlest of thought of how to dictate in my mind, what can I do to get out of this? What wiggle position, what shimmy of a shake. And then you hear a voice after the silence kind of echoes. Holy shit. He's still fucking alive. I'm very glad I am. And to know that somebody would, as you'll learn, I'm a person that likes to see as other people see so I can understand. And I couldn't not dictate something or picture in my head something so horrible. And I have seen horrible. Little side story to see, the difference between how the hell did you walk away from that to I'm sorry, were you waiting for something? You don't exist. You died. What's the difference? What's the variable in that? Because if we figure out that, you have a formula for preventing an issue. And I've seen too many issues, even after the fact, be overlooked or not bothered with. We actually have two stories that, other than this, touched me very deeply, and in both cases, unfortunately, they did not walk away. And this isn't a all motorcycles crash scene here. This is any incident that has changed somebody's. I couldn't get a thought in my head of how bad of the position I was in. Because for me, I was awake. I'm alive. Get me the fuck under the truck. is really your own thought. But after you're there for a while, you start to realize that they can't get you from under the truck. It's not a variable. It's not a. There is no choice because it can't be done. Then what do you do? Excuse me, Miss Truck Driver. I know you're over there freaking the hell out, but yo mama.
Yes.
Was the truck driver having some coffee?
No.
So, I guess I gotta ask, but I know you are. You better be.
What?
Ignoring your own interview. Remember, you're the host. Look, you're in the host seat.
I'm not ignoring it.
Go ahead and take us off from the story. So I just gave you a picture of what's going on, what you're seeing. Now you describe to me what you're seeing. Let's see how well you were listening. And let's see how you interpreted my pictation or memory thought, visual memory thought. Let's see how you pictate it. I just want to make sure I'm using all the words correctly. They seem all out of whack and twisted, and they can mean so many different things. I want to make sure I get the definitive one.
No, you're using it correctly, and I was listening, and honestly, I'm sitting here, one, trying to keep my composure, and two, I'm also very pissed off at the way that the truck driver reacted. Because if it were me, I would have reacted completely differently. So, yeah.
I said, did I upset everybody?
No. I mean, not that.
What's the problem? We can stop the interview if it's too much for the show.
No.
This isn't.
Okay.
I warned before we decided to do this that this is going to be difficult to hear.
Yeah. It still doesn't change the fact that it's a difficult scenario. Or it's a difficult situation. Sorry, I can't say scenario because it is actually something that happened. Even though it's difficult, you can't stop somebody from feeling the way that they do. The difference is that somebody hearing it and listening can react and not interact. Does that make sense?
No, you'll have to elaborate on that. Took me around the mulberry bush.
Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I said that you're gonna have to like kind of go more in depth on what you mean by definition or what you mean by that.
Okay, to the audience, they're listening and they're probably having a similar reaction as I am. They're not having to verbally interact with you at the same time as having the reaction.
Well, what reaction are you having? Tell us. Like, are you feel? I'm. This is what I get typically.
I'm picturing everything that you went through in my head as you're talking about it, and
Yeah, but
I'm feeling what anybody would feel like even driving past seeing an accident like that would feel. But I'm also feeling it even stronger because I know you personally and because of the feelings that I have for you. So it makes it a lot harder for me to hear it and then also to picture it. Does that make sense?
yeah, that's fine. But see, you're focusing too much on the injury. Again, that's why I didn't want you to say it in the report. Not that I don't want the people to know. We will tell them the injuries. But I think that it's a non important part of the equation because the part of the story is that I want everybody to understand is why. Remember, we're solving for why. So we're going to try to go through all this with the evidence and with statements and eyewitness statements, and we're going
Right.
to figure out what happened here and why did it happen. It's not that somebody's at fault or if someone's not at fault. It's frankly the real question is what can we do to prevent it? Everybody's too busy pointing fingers that they're forgetting to look at the problems. They want to point out the problems, but nobody wants to fix the problems.
Right, but there
Um,
is no 100% preventing it. Just
but
like
there
the
is, but there
occurs.
is, and that is where I will always disagree. There is always an equation. It is literally the building blocks of everything. Is math, 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 math. Before language, there was math. Before you had a letter, there was math.
Right, but hold on a second. Let me go back to the accident that I referred to earlier
Well, wait,
that I
because I came so strong with
went
that
outside my
statement. Oh,
house.
well, hold on. I came very strong with that statement. So I really want to just give you a demonstration of why ultimately things can be prevented, even when they say, and they even use it definitively, it could have not have done anything. I want to tell you a quick accident, and we're not going to touch base, but we're going to go back to this accident in another time. We are coming up to basically our cutoff point. Um, well, that's fine. You know what? We'll run it. And can you just cut it into two sections? Okay. Well, we'll leave it with this. Um, for those that feel sadness for me or pity, quit that shit. I ain't kidding. I'm walking, I'm talking. There's a little girl here because of that.
Yes, there is, and she's beautiful.
So y'all cheer the fuck up. I smile. So thank you for having this thought with me. So we meet again. Hello.